It's a bit later in the day than I wanted it to be at this point, but my slipmate, I might not be seeing him again after today, so he was like, "Do you want to come over for a drink?" How could I say no? It's currently 6:15. Got a few hours of sunlight, maybe 2 hours of sunlight. I'm gonna crawl in the lazarette and let's see if we can wire up the Renogy charger. Actually, before I go back there, a couple things I want to figure out. I've got, oh, it's a bit low now, and it's tilted. It's fine. Oh, shit. So I've got a couple of these. I've got a couple of 40 amp fuses, and I think I bought a fuse holder that's the right size for this. I was talking in the previous video when I was trying to figure out how the Renogy worked that I would double up a pair of 10 gauge. I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to try to scavenge up enough of the 4 gauge, which is dramatically overkill, to wire it up. I also was thinking about where I want to run the wires. Originally I was just going to run them back to the bus bars, but that's a pretty long run considering I have the alternator right there, I have the ground to the engine right there, and I have the bus bars available via the multiplus. If I take that bottom off, I'm asking for the damn thing to break. But if I run the wires up and I bolt them into the same place in the multiplus, actually I could probably do it on the fuse, you know. Well, anyways, I'll figure it out. I'm going to try to avoid running the wires all the way back to the bus bar. How does this thing open? Oh, it just pulls straight up. Okay. There's the mount for these fuses. These are so tiny and cute. Oh my gosh, I've been so spoiled, conditioned by using heavier gauge stuff. Let's see if these are the right size, or at least a usable size. These are 4 gauge by, I don't know what. I can't really see what it says, but it's not, I would have preferred one size down, but I think it'll work for the one trip home. Yep, I think that'll do for interrupting the 4 gauge. Again, it's kind of silly that I'm using 4 gauge for this when really 8 gauge would have been fine. I don't have any 8 gauge. 10 gauge too small, 4 gauge is too big. Better to be too big. Okay, so now that I know this is going to work, I'll put this back together, at least a little bit. And let me see what I've got in the way of, actually, I'm going to take some 4 gauge, I'm going to turn off the camera, find some loose 4 gauges that I can take with me into the lazarette, and then I will bring you back when I'm in the lazarette. Oh, I got everything ready except for that spiral of cables. What the hell did I do with that? Okay, I'll come back to it in a minute because I don't know yet where I'm going to pick up my 12-volt wire. The output side, which I've decided, if I put that there, the input, I need to pop this off. I'm currently on shore power, which means I need to turn this off, which is going to cut the power to all the boat. I think I have to do that, but not right at the moment. Let's think a bit further first. Oh, I want to get the multimeter to check the voltage on this as well. So far, the boat's been starting up every single time. It's been very reliable. I'm not seeing any sign that this thing has lost a charge. But then I've only started the engine, I think, 4 or 5 times. Actually, the input is really just coming from the batteries. I don't have to worry about any of this. I should put the input on the far side of this fuse so that the fuse protects the input of this, but I mean, it's 200 amps. So for the input side, I need to get from this negative to here and from this positive to here. The easiest thing to do would just be to run the input straight up into the multiplus. But I'm really worried about this breaking. I mean, as it is, I'm shocked it hasn't split yet. Am I worrying about that thing breaking too much? Like, really, what's the problem if it breaks? Wire, can you please go out of the way? I don't need you. Wire, you're being annoying. Go away. The right thing to do would be to run it all the way over to the bus bars, but that's a lot of wire that I don't think I have. The grounds are all bonded, so the output and the input grounds can go to the battery. I don't see any problem with that. Is that right? This output ground goes to the bus bar, that bus bar goes to the engine, this goes to the bus bar. Yeah, so I can tie the input and the output grounds, negatives, to this. So the only thing I really have to figure out is the positive, getting the positive to the bus bar. Do I have anywhere I can tie the positive to the bus bar here that's not this? I do have a bunch of 4 gauge left. I could run it over to the bus bar. This system is totally isolated currently. This is not, I need to think. I need to get this off. I need to turn this off. Okay, so I've got no power in the boat now. What the hell did I come down here for? It would be nice to have a brain that worked. Oh, right, the coil of wires for the Multiplus, or for the Renogy. That's what I was looking for. The problem is I cleaned up for the shakedown cruise, and now I can't find anything. Found them. They were actually in the lazarette already. Go me! I'm curious now what the voltage of the gel battery is after a few starts. I should have taken a measurement before I took the boat out a few times. That would have been really smart. I didn't do that though. 12.82. I would expect that is low enough to trigger the alternator. So this is what I have as leftovers and scraps of positive, and this is what I have as leftovers and scraps of negative. The negatives are kind of what limit me. What is this gauge wire? 2 gauge. So I don't have any connectors for it. That can go because it's too fat. I have this piece, so if I leave the negative there, I bring this around, I just, like I would have to pull it tight to get it on there, but it would technically fit. Could I turn this like this? Can I get this up? No, I can't. If I put this down here in front of the battery, the strap is no longer long enough. If I could get a longer strap, I could still strap this down and use this to hold this to the front of the battery. It puts it closer to the opening of the lazarette, which means it's more likely to get wet, which is not ideal. If I move the battery out like that, can I drop this in like this? Take this out. I don't know what this is, but it's officially in my way, so it has to go. So if I mount this like this, it's still in the way of whatever might come down the lazarette hatch, which I don't like. Back here, it's a little bit more shielded from anything that might fall in, but I have this leftover piece that has the right terminal for here on one side. Actually, no, I would need a different one for here. If I do this, this piece is long enough to go to the input side, and then I just need a positive to go from there to here, or from there to here, which I should have no problem doing. But then the output, am I just trading one problem for another? Because the output wires have to still, the negative just has to go back to here. So if I use this to go from here to the input, and I take this from here to the output, that's 3 terminals on this post, which is allowed. And that would give me all the cable I need for the negative side. Okay, so this will do the negative side if this works. Let's put this wire aside and let's start thinking about the positive if we do this. So the positive, I need to go to a fuse. If I put this up like here, do I have any really short reds? That's too small. Nope, nope. What are you? What are you? You've got the right size. Oh, you're long too. You're really long. Huh. If I'm going off the far side of this fuse, no, the output needs a, okay. This, is this long enough to hit the positive in there? Oh no, that would just be too freaking lucky if that was the case. Let me show you what I mean. Ooh, ooh, if I fall short, I can use the fuse to make up the difference. Where's that fuse? Come here, fuse. There we go. I run this up through here, back to the Renogy. If I brought this along and dropped it in right there, okay, I don't want to leave that like that because that's actually connecting enough to make a circuit. But if I don't pull this through, I know this is enough slack to hit this positive bus bar. Let's see where it goes in the engine bay. So there it is. This is going to the output. That's the output side. So I could bring this down to, where's the fuse? Oh, the fuse was right there. If I put this fuse block, I'd have to change the end of this wire no matter what, which is a little sad because I hate cutting off and wasting wire, but so it be. If I bring this down to here, something like this. Then I would have to go from here to the output through the 40 amp fuse. What are the chances this is workably small? Don't lose pieces. You know, that would actually work. And I wouldn't have to recrimp that end. Okay, this end is just slightly not wanting to fit on the plastic. That's annoying. But I have a file, so I can deal with that. I'll just take a little bit on the end off. Don't drop this down into the bilge. Yep, come back here. Okay, it's these spade bits are a touch too wide. I really kind of need to shave the edges of these and shave the ends of that. But that's the output, which would then swing up to something like this. This would drop down like this. So this would go like this. Fuse block would go like that and go back to the main bus bar. It's not what I would rather. I'd rather not have this so close to the heat of the engine, but I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. And then the input positive, probably what I would use this for. And I'm going to come to the input to the output of here, so I just have to put 2 ring terminals on, one here and one for that, and then that's the input side done. Okay, so let me get some ring terminals ready and prep these, and then I'll go up top and crunchy them. I think I got this. We'll find out in a second. That took a bit longer than expected. I'll climb into the lazarette and I'll show you what I did. I ended up cutting and recrimping. I accidentally bought the right ends. I'll show you what I mean when I'm in the lazarette. Let's see if I can put these side by side. So I ordered some new ring terminals, but you can see their width and their size is a lot smaller. Now I didn't know that when I ordered it, but it made it perfect for fitting into here. I was talking a moment ago, well, for you a moment ago, about possibly having to cut these down to get them to fit. With these, no problem. I had to come in here and have a thunk as I was cutting the wires because I couldn't really figure out how to make it work. So the handle on this side was cut off, but the handle is still on this side, which if I leave that handle there, okay, how was I going to do this? This is how I was originally going to do it, to mount it like this. But it means that if I drop it in like this piece fouls with where the negative cable will come. If I bring it up so that that's not an issue, then I don't have anywhere to mount the fuse block. So I still want to drop it down. The other issue is that, where's the other negative cable? Oh, balls. Ah, what the hell did I do with that cable? Oh my God, I lose things so fast. It's frustrating. All right, where was I? This negative has to come out like this and then swing up and catch this. And I'm worried this is going to be too short. I went looking for wire that was 4 gauge. The longer ones I had were actually 6 gauge, and I don't have the right ring terminals for them, so I couldn't use them. If that is too short, and I'll find all this out in a minute, I may have to mount this like this. I don't really want to do that and strap it to the front. And you can laugh, but a big part of why I don't want to do this is the writing is upside down. That is the dumbest reason to make a decision to do something. But anyway, if I do that, then where did that wire go? How do I lose things? Like, it's not even funny. I'm just mad at myself now. There it is. Then I can get from here to the ground, no problem. And this one here can get over to the ground, no problem. The same thing with the positives. So upside down, this will definitely work. That's my fallback. Another option is to nip a little bit of this wood off. I could drop it down and run the negative in, and that lets me set it down, assuming this wire is long enough. So I have to take this negative off. Actually, it should be fine because this is off and this is just a ground. So I can just do that now. The closer I get to launch date, the more flustered I get. Let's back this off. And this is ground. So if I touch something, it's not the end of the world, as long as it's not here or here. Oh, I should mention with these Renogy's, the number 2 star screwdriver, star bit, I don't know what it's called. It wants to walk out of the screws that come with it. I found the number 2 Robertson allows me to tighten down the bolt a lot better. I know you can't see what I'm doing, I'm sorry. As much as I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, I need to make sure I can see what I'm doing. That's in tight. How low can I go? All right, that's about as low as I can go, which means I have a problem with where to put this fuse block. If I let that drop down, even thinking of this is making me sad, but okay, I need to just take this end off. It's pissing me off. Okay, this is going to be easier to manage. So if I swing this up like this, and I put that right there, this is going to drive me absolutely insane. Okay, let's explore another idea than this position. If I did that, and then this, where would I put the fuse then? I'm still in a position that I don't really have anywhere to put the fuse. I hate the idea that I just made a cable and might not be able to use it. Okay, let's keep thinking. Let's keep thinking. I really don't like this solution. I really don't want this here because it's so easy for things. I mean, it's back here in this split. That was the right place for it, but I just don't have enough 4 gauge to make that happen. Oh, to have the foresight to come up with a master plan before you cut any wires. But alas, I did not. Can I just build a little bit of a rise right here? Mount this like this. Mount that like that, and then just put a piece, like a little board right here. I might even have some boards to do that, and then just screw this in and put the fuse right there. I'm pretty sure I have a... Did I throw that piece out? I bet you I did because I'm an idiot. If I did that, then this wire could come down like this, to that board, to here, and we're back in business. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Yep, that's what I'm going to do, and that clears this for the ground to come out as well. You are in my way. Even though I know this is disconnected on the other side, I feel bad about it just flopping in the breeze because red is scary. You stay there. That's the opposite of staying there. Okay, that's that. This will come up through here, this growing spaghetti that is making me sadder every day, and connect to that fuse. But not yet. I have to lean back so you can actually see me. I pulled the shore power at 1:45 p.m. and I haven't put it back, and it's now o'clock. I'm at 91% according to this. This is showing, what is this, BMSB? I can't remember which one it is now. It, at full charge, was still showing 90% because JK is going to JK. So I've got this up so we can see the current coming and going. So if the alternator is going to work, we actually can see the charge going into them. Okay, is that an ideal mounting? Absolutely not. Is it fit for purpose? No, not even that. But it's going to have to do. So now this has to go here. You know, lazarettes are traditionally where you put a whole lot of wet things. I don't mention that for any particular reason. Nope, none at all. Normally I'd like to run the positive and the negative along the same route, but, well, I'm doing a lot of things I would rather not do. Okay, all the grounds are connected now. What should I do next? Next would make sense to do this. Whoa, fuck. That was probably capacitors in here charging up. Oh, I just did all of that and I didn't have the camera pointing at the wall. Oh well. So, this doesn't really have enough slack to come around from the outside. I've got more slack on this. So I'm going to bring this one in from that side. Keep this wire going over and have it come in from the other side. Make a nice Y shape. So now at this point, the input to here is live. But there's no D plus signal cable. Never mind, the engine's not on. I have to find a cable that gets power after the key's in the ignition and pick that up to run into the D plus. Okay, so for now, that's the positive. So this should be off, but it has the possibility. It has the possibility of being alive. So this should be dead because there's no D plus signal wire. But let's be sure it actually is dead. 1 volt, falling quickly. Just some capacitors in here. Now I need to make a mount for this, and start strapping in the positive cable. Where did the positive cable go? Oh, you're right, I put it up here. I'm going to turn off the camera here, and I'm going to find a piece of wood or something I can mount to this, and then I'll come back and we'll mount the fuse properly. I have to sit back unusually far so that the light's actually in front of me. This is an offcut from something I had before. Can you see this? It's in shadow, but at least it's close enough that you can see it. So I'm going to put a couple of holes on this side to run through into that panel, and then I can mount the fuse on the top. If I mount that like that, and this like this, I'm back in business. Is it ideal? That's funny. No, of course it's not. But it gives me a lot of overlap area to put screws in. This is a lot of work for something temporary. But it's better to do a lot of work now for something temporary than to need to do emergency work after breaking down in probably a very inconvenient time. Don't drill through the palm of my hand, please. Hopefully that's coming through. You can see how much they stick through. It will poke through a little bit, so I have to be careful about not hitting the Renogy because it is flush with the bottom. I don't have anything shorter though, really. I will do all of this by hand so that I don't damage the Renogy. Okay. And one fuse block mounted. The Renogy's V'd, and this is above where it V's out, so it's not going to make contact with the Renogy. So now I have to start running this one. It's disconnected on the other side. So how do I want to route it? Bring it down with that bundle. Yeah. Oh, also, you can see on one side, it's transparent, you can see the wire inside. The other side, it still says 40, but you can't see through it. I'm going to do it this way so that the clear is out, which I'm assuming is the way you're supposed to do it. There, we have our fuse. I'm not always proud of what I do. This is one of those moments. So I will strap all of these together into a bundle after, and that keeps all of this access relatively clear. Alright. Given that it's late and I need to get a few other things done tonight, I don't think I can finish this. I'd also like to do this in the day. For you! When I got in last night, I realized my mics were off. Sorry about that. So, one of the things I did last night after I came in was I started looking up a bit more on the alternators that come with these engines, and they come in 35 amp and 55 amp versions. Obviously the alternator that's on there is not original, but the alternators that came with this boat came in 35 amp and 55 amp variants. The alternator that's on the engine is obviously aftermarket, but knowing that 35 amp alternators, I did a search for compatible ones and that seemed to be a fairly common size, are common for this boat, I'm a little worried now that the alternator I have can't do 40 amps. I just assumed it was like a 65 amp or better. If it's only 35 amp, when I wire in the battery, which I was getting ready to wire in the D+, I'm going to have to jump over to the LC so that I cut the output to 20 amps so I don't cook the alternator. I really hope that's not the case, and the only way really to find out is to pull the alternator right off and flip it over and see if I can see a product number. So that's what I'm going to go do now. J'ai besoin mon chapeau. Oh shit! How did that get knocked over? Oh, balls. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Somehow that got turned upside down and it still had crap in it. I need to suck that out now. I'm really surprised it hasn't come through here and gone overboard. I must have knocked this down last night and not realized it. Okay, I have to go empty that. Let's see if we can get this alternator off. Let's see if it's 1/2 inch or 9/16. 1/2 inch it is. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Whoops. That bolt is really close to those fuel lines. There, got it. There we go. And I think there's one more. That's holding the bracket on. Is it just those two? I guess it has to be that two, or just those two because it pivots. So let's get this belt off. There we go. I should be safe and pull this wire off. At least these small, more fragile wires. Okay, this is actually just spinning the bolts. And these connectors look like they're about to break off. Okay, I'm not quite sure what to do here. I'll show you what I mean. So I don't want to do it much more, but you see the bolt in the back is spinning at the same time. I need to lock that in place somehow, but that's really narrow. I don't know if I can even get my needle and those pliers in there. I don't know if this is going to work, but I definitely am not going to be able to do it holding you, so I'm trying to keep my hands from getting dirty, but this is... I don't like the loss in dexterity. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna have to just try to get this off. And if you're hearing that noise, that's my neighbor working on his boat. Okay. Alternator is off. 75 amp Balmar. Okay, let me take a picture of this because I don't want to hold this for very long. Fuck yeah. Oh, pardon my language. Flip yeah. So, at 40 amps, that's just slightly over 50% what this alternator can do. That's fantastic news. I tried to actually find the previous owner, so I never met him through the purchase process. I really wanted to ask him some questions about, you know, where has he been, what's the boat been on, just hear some of her stories. But he never returned any of the marina's calls, and for completely understandable reasons, they didn't give me his number. So, her past is a mystery to me. There. And her past will probably remain a mystery for me. So it's got a split washer on the back. Normally, when you try to tighten this, you should have a spanner on here, but I didn't have one, and I'm hoping I can get away without one. You don't want this one super tight anyway, because it's the pivot point. There's too much play in that. I'm probably going to block your view, but I need to figure out how to get a good pull on this while I tighten it. Much tighter, that's better. I'm going to take a minute and see if I can find the docks for that alternator, and then I'll be back. So I found the manual for the alternator, and it has information on how it's supposed to work with the regulator. So between that and the manual for this, even if this doesn't work right away, I'm getting increasingly confident that I can figure out how to make it work. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pop this off and see if there's any voltage on, I'm calling them the field windings. I don't know if that's the right term. I don't really know alternators very well. But I believe this should have no power until the key is turned. So I'm going to pop this off, see if there's voltage there. If there is, great. I have to find something else. If there isn't, I'll turn the engine on, not turn it all the way on, but just put the key into the ignition position and see if I get 12 volts on here. If I do, this is where I can tap for the D+. Now this is going to be live on the output. Will it be? This feeds in. Yeah, I think this is going to be live on the output, so I have to be careful. Actually, if that's the case, does that mean the engine would try to start off the LFP bank? Oh. Oh my. Oh my indeed. Okay, well, I will have to give that more thought, but one thought at a time. It's one of the reasons I didn't want to start this up yesterday, is I just felt like I needed to think about it some more. Just to check, yeah, 12 volts. Okay, so that's working as a ground. Nothing there. Nothing there. Okay, let's go turn the key but not start the engine. All right. Test to make sure that my ground is still working. It is. No, I don't. Oh, is that because... Yep, that's it. Nope, that's not going to work. All right, well, I might as well put this back on now. That said, so the starter didn't have power until I closed this, and the 12-volt system is on, so the LFP system can't be powering the charger. I put this back together and give that more thought. I've got the quarter burst back together, and normally I would just go look at the back of the panel and see where the key wire goes, what color it is. I was trying to avoid pulling that apart, but that may not be avoidable. Okay. Let's go in the corner berth and crack that door open. My bed. I have to tear it apart again. Oh well, let's go. I'd have to take this apart anyway to do the oil change. The hatch cover for the engine bay, I can't get it in and out unless I take the cushion out. I hear some of you say, it's just making a bed, why are you so stressed? Trying to get a fitted sheet onto something that is very much not square is slightly annoying. Where is the ignition switch? Is it the white and black? I'll show you what I'm looking at. I'm gonna have to go back up and look. I think that's the key cylinder right there. Or is that just a push button switch? That looks really short for a key cylinder. That looks like a push button. Where the hell's the key again? Okay, I need to go back out and take a mental picture. Actually, I'm gonna take a physical picture because I'm very forgetful. I think that's really complicated. That might be the key cylinder. Is it that far over? Okay, let me go look. Oh, it's up there! So most inboard is the key. That's the push button. I don't know what that is. Blower or something? My blowers are broken. Pull for engine stop, but that means that the fuel gauge is the one that has a whole pile of wires coming off of it, and it's not working. Okay, well anyways, key, oh, that's the buzzer. Okay, so this is the key cylinder I want to look at. So let me go down and look at it before I come back up and actually turn the key so I don't have to listen to the annoying buzzing. Okay, that's not going to the fuel cylinder, that's going to, and this is why I took the picture, because I already forgot what that is. So the key is the absolute most inboard. That's the push button that actually closes the circuit to the starter. So the white one goes to the starter. Then I've got black wire, which goes to that, which is the second thing inboard below the gauges. That's the blower. Okay, yeah, that's the blower. I turn this, I push this. That's always powered once the key is in the run position. So whatever wire that goes to, the start button should be the one that's only powered up when the key is in the run position. I'd make this blue wire the one that gets lit up when the key is in the run position. So if I go put the key, or if I turn the battery on, so I should see no voltage here, turn the key to the run position, and I should see voltage here, if I understand how this is working properly. Big bundle of wires. Oh, what a fucking mess this is. So, key is out of the run position. Turn this on. And now I should have 12 volts at one pin and not the other, because the key is off. Where for sure is a ground? Take the door off and press it against the engine block again. 12 volts. Nada. Okay, so let me go turn on the key and see if that top one goes to 12 volts. You're probably not going to hear me behind the alarm. Sorry, it's going to be annoying for a sec. 12 volt. 12 volt. Okay, so I need to follow this blue line. Holy shit, that's annoying.
Close to me.
I mean, yes. Which reminds me, I should get a bilge alarm. So this light blue wire is what I need to trace. And she's tied in good. Oh, the blue wire goes up to the hour meter, and then the black wire comes down. Now, does it pinch off at some point? Oh, damn it. This is all, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Sorry. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so it only goes up to there, and then it's this black wire. Of course it's black. So easy to find, and I just cut myself. Tapping in off that is not very feasible. Alright, so what other wires do I have coming off there? This red wire that goes to the fuel sender, and it looks like it taps off and loops right back on. Why would it do that? Well, anyways, that's not going to help me. I have this white wire that goes to the push button. Oh, balls. I don't know, I've started cutting tape. Okay, you know what? I think I'm going to see if I have enough length of white to come in and just tap into this. Boat yoga! Or, in theory, I could... Oh, see, there's not a lot of thread left on that nut. I'm reluctant to take it off because A, I could drop it into the bilge, which I don't want to do. B, even though I put another one on, I don't like having so many wires coming off of it. What's the other wire coming off of it? There's that tiny little red one. That tiny little red one. Oh, I don't want to completely pull this apart. Yeah, I think tapping that blue wire is the less bad of my options. So I could split this, because I've got a fair bit of slack. I could split it right there, and then tie the white wire in and connect them all together. I really don't like that idea, but I don't really know what else to do. The other option is just try to cut the shielding without breaking the wire. Tap in the white wire, just like wire wrap it, and then tape it up. Wow, that got really far in there. That was probably not safe. So now the question becomes, is this enough length to get across? I think it might be. It should be. Oh yeah, I'll have plenty of slack to get that all the way over. Oh, son of a bitch. Does this actually... Oh, I think it actually reaches the key. Oh, do not tempt me. Oh my god, it is the perfect length to reach that. I mean, if that ain't the fate's telling me something. Damn it. Okay, if I'm gonna take this off, I have to be very careful not to lose that nut. That is a tiny nut. Okay. Washer nut didn't fall off. Should almost have pulled the panel out, but this wire definitely won't have the slack for that. I'll put you this way so if I drop it you can see me cuss. Oh, look at that, I'm sideways. Hello. Anti-gravity. Or microgravity. Would be more accurate. Okay, so I'll show you what I did. Fuck, that scared me. I meant to run the white wire under here, but I'm not going to risk that bolt falling off, so I'm not going to fix it. There we go. I don't want to risk ripping this out. I don't want to risking that out. So I'm going to strap this in with a couple of new zip ties. I'm going to be tugging on it when I'm in the lazarette. Said I was just going to do a couple, but here I am doing the full thing. Oh well. Inconsistency is my consistency. Okay. Oh, balls. Took a little bit of a break to put some charge back in the GoPro and me. Alright, let's get back to this. Of course, now the sun's starting to go down, so it's getting dark, or rather high contrast in here. Hopefully you can see better than it looks like on the screen. It's starting to turn into a mess again, but with so little time left. As I record this, I will be coming up on the end of my first day in exactly 1 week. In fact, I'm leaving in a few hours to pick Matt up at the airport. Now, I mentioned this in the original Renogy video, but I'll mention it again in case anyone didn't see that one. This switch is not necessary. I'm leaving the switch here because it gives me an opportunity to turn the charger off even when the key's in the ignition position. The reason for that is if I find the alternator's getting hot or I just like the idea of being able to turn this off separately and quickly. Let me get that down with the positive wire. That won't look too badly. Except it's a bit short. Okay, that's not gonna work. Man, I wish I could say I was this careful on purpose. I just got really lucky. Okay, I need to find that tiny little screwdriver to get that in and tighten down. Where'd that little toolkit get? Where'd that little toolkit get? Why do I keep saying that? It's fun to say. Okay, I'm not going to be stumped at the last minute because I don't have a screwdriver. I know I have the little kit here. Okay, seriously, what the F did I do with that? Oh, fuck's sakes. I am not going to be stumped by not having a screwdriver to finish this job. I know this is in the boat somewhere. I'm quickly learning how impressively easy it is to lose things on a boat, a small boat, like thoroughly lose them. Because though it's small, there are nooks and crannies absolutely everywhere. And do you remember which nook or cranny you stuck something? Well, maybe you do. Most people probably have better memory than me, but I don't. All right, it's not in the dirty laundry pile. Okay, it's not in there. I am rapidly running out of ideas as to where it might be. Where the hell did that get to? Okay, it's not anywhere in the V-berth. I can't screw this in without my small toolkit, and I am absolutely at a loss where it is. I mean, it has to be in the boat somewhere. Oh, there's the other light. In the engine bay by chance? I am absolutely stumped. I can't put this in without that little screwdriver, and that's... All right. I'm gonna turn off the camera, plug this in, and I have to keep looking. It's gotta be here somewhere. Ripped the boat apart from stem to stern, but I found it. All right. I can't see in there anymore. take a picture so I can actually see inside the screw hole. Yes, they're flat. Of course, I can't see in there, so I can't see if it's connected properly. Oh, come on, Renogy. How hard would it be to use a different connector that isn't so flipping hard to use? Can you tell I'm getting frustrated? Okay, grab the end of the flat screwdriver. Why is it not grabbing the end of the wire? All right. Hopefully I didn't crunch that down on the shielding, but I guess we'll find out in a few minutes. 5:30, I've got 2 hours. Okay, in theory, we're done. I am going to make some space and clean up a little bit. Then I'm gonna go turn on the key and we'll come back and we'll see if flipping the switch, okay, it's off now, on, off. I'm gonna leave you pointing down. I don't know if you can see the lights, but yeah, let me go get the multimeter and get ready to test. Actually, I can turn the key on and off by flipping this. Okay, so the key is on, multimeter. Clamp amp meter. Where's the alternator wire? That is the starter. That's the alternator wire, okay? I'll try to set this up so you can see it. All right, that does not want to be set up in a way that lets you see it, of course. There, how's that? Let's go to amp, make sure I'm in DC mode, press to 0, and I'm seeing 0 amps. I'm having a hard time reading this, so I'm assuming you're having a hard time reading this. I don't really have much I could do about that. There must be a backlight on this thing. Oh, wait, is that a backlight? Hold. Okay, there's the backlight. I don't know if that makes it any easier for you to see. Can you see both of those? Please work. I need to get going. Nothing. Why am I getting nothing here? There's my 12 volts. Okay. Okay, 0.003 seems to be as low as it's going to get. Let's turn this on. The engine is on. Press the switch. And it fired up. Now to go and actually start the engine, and you watch this for me, please. It's working. I don't know why the clamp amp meter isn't showing it, but I don't know if you heard that. I'm sure you did. When I flipped the switch, the engine lugged out to the point where it almost stalled. So what I did, I couldn't explain this because the engine was running, you wouldn't have heard me. But I turned on the Victron screen, stuck my head inside of it. I might have been able to see that from the Canon. I don't know where the Canon's pointing. And then I pressed this. Actually, you could probably see my hand pressing that. I pressed that and I watched the screen and I was getting 450 watts in. We're charging off the alternator. Oh my God. Oh my God. I've been dreaming about this exact clip I'm about to record. It's working. It's solved. I can charge. I still need to do an oil change. Okay, so up next, oil change, transmission fluid change, and I'm going to stop and get some filters for the water system. I know there's more, but I am so flipping happy right now that this is working! I'm trying not to scream when I get excited. I don't want to blow people's ears out. I know I've done that a few times. It's working. Why am I not seeing... I don't know why the clamp amp meter isn't showing power. It's in DC, but fuck it, it's working. Do I really care? I don't. I have to go pick up Matt in a couple of hours, and I need to get some groceries. I need to make the bed for him, giving him the V-birth. Fuck, that is a huge, huge relief. I'm the Digital Mermaid. If you're enjoying this content and you think others might as well, could I ask you to do the usual YouTube algorithm crap? Usual like and subscribe. It would, I find that when I do ask, a lot more people click and I get more people coming in and finding the channel. So I'm really surprised at how much it works. I understand now why so many YouTube channels always say the usual, please like and subscribe. It really does make a difference. I resisted it for a long time, but hey, there you go. One more major to-do ticked off, and 6 days to go. See you soon. I gotta get used to filming when there's other people around. Anyways,